Hello, this is Justin Garza. I'm the author of the Gaussian Blur in the Unity Asset Store. I'm going to show you how to use it. This is the Asset Store page. So let me switch to my Unity window. And what I did, it takes a bit of time on my old computer, but I created a blank new project and I downloaded the Gaussian Blur URP asset in the Unity Asset Store. If you open up a basic scene, this is the basic scene right here, and it says I haven't saved anything, or I have stuff that I need to save. I'm not going to save it, so I can show you how it looks as we're getting started. Let's open the asset store page again, and I'm going to go to the README file. And this this README file is on GitHub. I put a lot of my stuff on there. So it has a setup portion, and we're going to need to do these two things in order to set it up correctly. There's a few notes underneath to give you guys an understanding of what's going on in here. The first thing we need to do is use the URP asset, and I'll show you how to do that right now. So if you go to your project settings and graphics, you can see that you can set up your own renderer. If you click on that, you'll see that there's default ones that Unity provides. These other two are the ones I provided. If you look at where they're stored, Unity changes things up from time to time, so I have to make new assets from time to time. And if an asset is not there, you can definitely create your own or modify the ones that exist. So within Gaussian Blur, you'll find URP and the asset folders. I'm going to delete these two, and we're going to create them from scratch. So just deleted them. I'm going to right click, go to create, and then from create to render, and I'm going to create a URP asset with universal renderer, and that's all I did. I can rename it. So URP asset, and let's rename this one too to URP asset renderer. And I can click here and find the one I just created and use that one. So what I want to do is click on here, and definitely I want the opaque texture. You're going to want to do this so the scripts can get the image of the camera that the camera sees, and then we can use that to manipulate it. As far as downsampling goes, if you guys are making mobile games, you're going to want to downsample it to one of these three. But if the processing power is nothing you're concerned about, you can hit none. For me, I'll downsample it times 2 and do that. Now, in my scene, I can go to the camera, and in opaque texture, I want to turn that on, and you can start to see now that our script is getting the image from the camera, blurring it, and setting it to the background of this object. And that is the basics of what you want to get started. You can see that this cube is not being rendered right. That is the camera seeing it, blurring it, and then putting the blur on top of the object that's already there. We can see that in the other object renderer, you can pick what your camera picks up and then what is added in later. And that is how you can remix on picking and choosing what objects get rendered with the blur and which objects don't. For example, maybe you have a sword that's made out of some sort of blurred glass. You don't want the camera to pick that up on the first pass, but then you want the blur to happen and the camera and the rendering to add that sword in later. So this is an example of how you'll need to modify this for your own code. Obviously, you could also have players shift in and out, so that's something else you might want to think about when using this asset. You might have to adjust things here and there. And that's it for me. So I will end this video now.